Health Department has also reported that 8 Delta carriers previously tagged as recovered have once again tested positive for the coronavirus.
4 of the Delta cases are from Cagayan de Oro, 1 each in Manila and Misamis Oriental, and 2 are returning overseas Filipinos.
Lahat po sila halos, yung city values nila matataas. Ibig sabihin, mababa na yung viral load sa katawan, and therefore, most likely, hindi na sila ganun ka-infectious.
Because of the Delta, we are redeploying our vaccines to the Delta variant area of concerns in Region 10, in NCR, in Region 6, at saka po yung mga ECQ at MECQ areas.
NCR mayors had already asked the IATF to suspend the policy of allowing kids to go out.
No? Dahil nga po meron kami kaso dito at medyo tumaas po ang kaso rito. Sa dahilan po na ang 5 to 17 ay hindi pakunado at sila po ay posibleng maging super spreaders.
Despite limited genome sequencing capacity to detect COVID-19 infections, health authorities are urging the public to remain cautious and assume that the Delta variant is spreading. But is the country ready for another surge? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. Welcome to this special edition of The Chiefs. I'm Robbie Alampay. Also with us online are Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Ed Lingao of One News. Chiefs, happy Tuesday.
Good evening.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Anong binabantayan natin, Ami?
Not very happy kasi sabi ng
This meeting is being recorded.
Ay,
The
tumataas.
recording has...
Okay. Tumataas na naman daw ang natin, ang cases dito sa Metro Manila. So mukhang matutuloy yung warning ni Presidente na baka maghigpit na naman because of the Delta variant.
that's right.
So sabi ng DILG, sabi ng DILG yan, as of now granular lockdown lang daw ang iniisip nila.
And you're looking at 8 people who had the Delta variant previously turn up positive again. We don't know if it's Delta variant as well, but they turned up positive again.
And we're taking note, speaking of Delta, we're taking note of a new term na I'm sure I will be hearing, shedding time. Diba? So we talked about viral load.
Shedding viral
viral shedding time na parang sinasabi nila ngayon, they're observing because, and they're not equating, let's stress this, they're not equating this with yung necessarily the length of time that you could infect someone, but the length of the time that you are still positive for the virus. It can now take as much as 21 days for the Delta variant. Pero kanina tinatanong ko si Dr. Ted Herbosa, does that necessarily mean that will this impact, for example, yung mga policies on isolation, on quarantine? Medyo cautious pa rin yung sagot ng mga experts natin dyan.
Yeah, more likely they don't know yet. They don't have the data yet.
But this is
Saka yung original naman na COVID medyo yung iba tumatagal din naman ng 3 weeks din.
But
Hindi naman standard yung 14 days lang.
So, ibig mo sabihin na they were released even before they got well.
yan yung mga i-revisit nating tanong, 'di ba? Yan yung mga i-revisit nating tanong. But let's not revisit. Let's go straight na lang to our guest today. There is some good news from where they start from, but let's bring in tonight the president of the Samahang Weightlifting ng Pilipinas, Monico Puentevella. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Amy. Good evening sa inyong lahat. Good evening, Ed, Robbie.
Yes, sir.
Maraming salamat sa pag-imbita. Ed, salamat sa inyo, Robbie.
Opo, mamaya natin balikan yung COVID kasi ang isang malaking balita rin, yung contingent natin nasa Tokyo na. 'Di ba? Pati yung mga kapatid natin from TV5, from Signal, nandun na rin, ready to cover. At nakikita ko po diyan, naka-t-shirt kayo ng Philippine Olympic team. Ano po ba ang nakikita natin sa weightlifting?
Maraming salamat sa pag-imbita. Mayong gabi uli sa inyong lahat. Paalis na nga ako, actually, Robbie, bukas, alas 8 ng umaga. Samahan ko yung aking alaga. For 16 years, inalagaan ko yan. Yung 12 years old pa siya. pang-apat niya ng Olympic ito, nag-silver kami sa Rio, ay pagsunerte sa let God do the rest. No? I mean, pagkasunerte at binigyan ng Panginoon ng regalong Pilipinas after so long, baka maka-gold. Kung sakaling di maka-gold, number 2 siya sa buong mundo ngayon, so she's number 2, baka pala maka-silver or bronze. She's the first woman medalist sa Olympics ng Pilipinas. And if she wins a silver or a bronze in this time, if not the gold, she will be the most bemedaled woman Olympian. Woman Olympian in the history. Or maybe the most bemedaled Olympian sa buong history ng Pilipinas. So, sana ipagdasal nyo, mga nanonood sa The Chiefs ngayong gabi, pagdasal nyo kasi ang ating lahat na atleta, hindi lang si Aidelin, 2 weightlifters ko doon, at probably, hopefully, sa Paris Olympics 3 years from now, baka 4 o 5 na yung mga lifters na madadala ko, inspired by the success of Aidelin Diaz.
Mr. Pontevella, apart from the excitement, of course, over sports, ang inaalala ngayon sa Tokyo ay yung pagkalat ng COVID kasi may mga tinamaan ng ibang athletes doon eh. Saka yung mga tao mismo doon nag-aalala kung anong madadala ng mga foreign participants. Ano po ba yung pagbabago sa mga preparations, yung mga training ng mga atleta natin na affected by the pandemic? Anong nabago sa kanila ngayon?
Actually, ang buong mundo nagsuffer. Lahat na atleta ng buong mundo. Hindi lang ang Pilipinas. Gaya sa kay Aidelin, parang malaman ng ating mga kapatid, 2 taon siya nag-lockdown doon, nag-training sa Malaysia po. Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, sa Rizal Memorial, naka-lockdown po kami, hindi kami makatraining ng gusto. Kaya ang iba ko ng mga athletes, gaya kay Elrin Ondo, yung isa, sa Cebu po yan. Nagpapasalamat ako sa Philippine Sport Commission, kay Chairman Butz Ramirez at sa board, kasi lahat naman talaga ginawa nila. Pagsimula ng pandemic, 2 years ago hanggang ngayon, talagang naapektuhan. Pero blessing in disguise in a way, because kung dito lang si Aidelin nag-training sa Rizal Memorial po, maraming distraction. Pwede siyang tawagin ang pamilya sa Zamboanga, pwede siyang imbitahin sa lahat ng mga TV shows, baka imbitahin siya sa lahat. So doon, talagang nagtago siya, training ng training. Kaya sabi ng coach sa akin, I think she will be performing her best in this competition sa Olympics. Yung last one kasi sa Uzbekistan kami, natalo siya because we did not want to show the world her best. Ang China kasi nagpasiklab eh. Ay gusto namin makita talaga hanggang saan ang China, the world record holder. So ngayon, nalaman na yun ang hahabulin ni Aidelin at yung Chinese coach niya, si Coach Gao at si Julius Naranjo.
Mayor, pwede pong pag-usapan din natin yung isa mo pang alaga. Hindi na sa sports, pero doon sa politika. I understand na you've been asked by Senator Pacquiao to speak on his behalf while he is in training and while he's preparing for his fight, especially on political matters. Diretsuhin ko po kayo. Kasi sunod-sunod yung bakbak ng Pangulong Duterte kay Senator Pacquiao na dati niyang kaalyado at hanggang ngayon kapartido niya. Sa tingin ho ba ni Senator Pacquiao, at sa inyong tingin, pero sa tingin ni Senator Pacquiao, kaalyado pa rin ba niya ang Pangulong Duterte o kabangga na?
Mahirap. Humingi na ng meeting, mga kapatid, ang ating pambansang kamao, humingi na mag-usap. Hindi sinagot. After the trouble nagsimula sa PDP, humingi naman yung ating kapatid, si Senator Pacquiao, kumpadre ko for 20 years, na sana mag-usap. Hindi binigyan ng pagkakataon. Tapos, yung marinig mo sa ibang programa, sinabi ni Presidente, ay ito, si Pacquiao, hindi nga marunong magbasa. Hindi nagbabasa kasi hindi marunong magbasa. Tapos, may mga mura pa. So, mahirap unless tawagin siya at siguro, I expect even if you are the President, for a senator na minura mo, at least you owe him an apology. Kung hindi ka mag-apologize kay Senator, ito ay magtatapos sa dulo sa eleksyon, sa sunod na eleksyon. Kasi alam naman natin, let's not fool the people. Alam naman natin ang tatakbo si SARA. Ang daming kwento. Tapos lumabas, run, SARA, run. Hindi ako tatakbo. Pumuntang Cebu. Sabi sa kay Governor Gwen Garcia, tatakbo daw. Kaya let's all be honest. Let's face the music. Kung tatakbo talaga si Mayor SARA, go ahead. Go ahead. Kasi this is a free country. Senator Pacquiao wants to become a candidate. Gusto niya. So maski ano nilang murahin, okay lang yun. Hindi naman sila binabastos. Mas edukado nga si Senator. Maski ano nang banat sa kanya. Nguti-ngiti lang siya. Tapos that's why hiningi niya, kung ikaw na muna kumpadre, ang sumagot kasi gusto ko mag-concentrate sa laro ko. Kasi this is the biggest fight, mga kapatid. Or maybe it could be the last fight of our most renowned. And according to boxers in the whole in Las Vegas, this is the best boxer of all time in the history. Sobra pa kay Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray
Yes, sir.
Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Ito,
Pero, sir,
whether they think he is the best. So,
Yes, sir.
he wants to concentrate. Kaya sabi
Yes,
niya,
sir.
pare, ikaw na muna dyan mag-sagot sa kanila.
Yes,
At
sir.
gusto
Sir, but
niya mag-concentrate.
that brings me back to my question, sir. As far as Senator Pacquiao nga is concerned, does he consider the president still his political ally, considering that they still belong to the same party and Duterte is still the chairman? So in the end, sila ba yung
wala na.
magkakalyado o sila hindi na?
Ay, wala na siguro. Being honest with you, let's call a spade. Eh. Si minumura ka na, pinalitan ka, inalis ka as president. Hindi ka man lang kinausap, humingi ka ng meeting, hindi ka man lang kinausap. Tapos, lahat na binibira sa'yo, inaano mo, bilang Kristiyano, tinatanggap lang, hindi ka sumasagot, hindi ka masakit. Kaya wala na yan. And unless
sir,
they will apologize, this is over. The bottom line here is Sara Duterte versus Manny Pacquiao. The best fight for 2022 in the Philippines.
Sir, so calling a spade also. Paninindigan pa ba ni Senator Pacquiao na PDP-LABAN siya? Or kakalas na lang siya to set up another party?
Alam nyo, magandang tanong yan because only COMELEC, which majority has been appointed by our President. Dalawa lang dyan ang hindi na na-appoint ni Presidente. Si Guanzon at ang isa pa, appointed dyan ni Presidente Pinoy. But the majority are COMELEC. So, let's be honest, malakas talaga ang kapangyarihan kung nasa Malacanang ka. Ang Supreme Court, with all due respect, 15 sila, mga 12 dyan, appointed ng ating Pangulo. So, alam na natin ang bottom line dito. But again, Pacquiao never quits. Pacquiao never stops. Pacquiao will fight. Kukunin mo, sino ang tingin ng tao? Ang magsisimpatiya ng tao. Inagaw mo ang partido ni Manong Nene, Pimentel, ni Ninoy Aquino. Insultuhin mo pang 100 years, tulog yan, hanggang pumasok ka.
Mr. Puentevella, sinabi niyo it's over, and so you are completely closing the door on reconciliation with the crucifixion with President Duterte. Kasi sinabi niyo rin kanina na dapat mag-apologize si Presidente. Paano ko mag-apologize? Total Paano ko mag-apologize si Presidente? It's over pa rin ba?
Well,
Talaga bang ruled out na yung reconciliation, yung unity of the party, PDP-LABAN?
alam mo, Amy, kami ni kumpare ko, we talk almost every other day or every day before he left and after now nasa stage pa siya. Kasi sabi ko sa kanya, mag-concentrate ka na lang sa boxing. Pabayaan mo na to. Kasi kailangan ito the best and maybe the last fight of Pacquiao. So para sa akin, iniinsulto ka, hindi ka marunong magbasa, gunner ka na, laos ka na, huwag ka nang magboxing, absentee ka. Lahat na insulto, tinanggap ng senador. Hindi naman siya sumagot ng masama. Ginagalang niya pa rin. Pero sabi niya, pagbalik ko dyan, lahat iharap ko sa Senado yung Blue Ribbon Committee. May audio, may bisyo ng korupsyon. And let's be honest, sino nagsimula nito ng away? Si Presidente naman nagsabi niya, ikaw, korupsyon ka ng korupsyon, ilabas mo. Sana. Nilabas, sabi ni Senator Pacquiao, ito ilalabas ko. Ay, bakit ka magalit? Sana sinabi mo. Sige, Senator, mabuti, tulungan mo kami. Ilabas mo kasi kung malaman kong tatalsikin ko yan. Kung sino mga magnanakaw, sipain ko. Ay wala Ang tinira niya si Senador. Ay hindi naman nagbura sa kanya o nagbastos sa kanya. Nagtahimik, pumunta na lang sa Amerika, may training kasi talaga nakaschedule. Pero sa totoo lang, unless tawagin siya na, Senator, let's come to Malacanang, mag-usap tayo. Pero kung wala, alam mo kasi, let's be honest. Ang kandidato nila iba. Ayaw nila kay Senator Pacquiao.
But Mayor,
kausap namin kagabi si Melvin Matibag, sabi niya, wala pa naman daw solid na about SARA. Isuspretsa nyo lang daw yon. Tapos yun daw kaya nagagalit daw si Senator Pacquiao dahil daw sa bagay na hindi pa naman daw nangyayari. Suspetsa pa lang daw. Ano po yung masasabi niyo ron?
Amy, mga kapatid, ano bang dahilan? Bakit pa hahamakin, binamaliit si Senator KOKO Pimentel, si Senator Pacquiao? Inalis sa partido na pinagsimulan ni Senator Manong Nene Pimentel at ni Ninoy Aquino. Bakit mo pa alisin? Bakit mo pa murahin ng katakot-takot? Minamaliit mo pati si KOKO Pimentel. Siya ang gumawa ng konstitusyon ng PDP. Inalis mo. Amy, let's face the music. Talagang si SARA, kita mo sabi, if in fear of retribution, takot sa mabilanggo, bakit? Ano bang kasalanan niya? Ba't siya takot mabilanggo? Kaya sa tatakbo daw ng Vice President dahil may immunity. Ano bang kasalanan niya? Sabihin niya sa bayan. Ay, gusto niya mag-Vice President. Emil, bakit hindi natin ituloy? Patakbuhin natin silang dalawa. Presidente si SARA, Vice Presidente. Why? To know ang bayan na to kung gusto niyong dynasty. Sige. Kasi maski unconstitutional, pipilitin constitutional. Pwede. Kasi na may kapangyarihan. Kaya, sige, ituloy nyo. Because I want to know, do Filipinos want to have dynasty? Isang pamilya lang? Nasa Davao? Go! Why not? Why na tayo mag-debate? Patakbuhin yung dalawa. Oo.
Mayor,
yan ang akin. Because even if they run, Senator Pacquiao will not stop. He wants to help the poor. He wants to improve this country.
Mayor, balikan ko lang po yung isang sinabi niyo. Sabi niyo nga, balikan natin. Saan ba nag-umpisa itong bangayan na to? Saan ba nag-umpisa itong away niya to? And as you said, nung sinabi ni Senator Pacquiao na may korupsyon, binalikan siya at sinabi, ilabas mo, kung hindi mo mailabas, sisiraan ka namin, we will campaign against you. Pero may konteksto rin po doon, in fairness, ang kampo ni President Duterte. At isang konteksto nila, sinabi nila, ba't ngayon ka lang nagsasalita? 5 taon tayo magkaalyado. Magkasama tayo. Alam mo lahat ng palakad ng gobyernong ito. Pati yung sinasabi mong linalait kita, binabastos ka. I mean, as you said, let's call a spade a spade. Alam naman po na buong Pilipinas ganyan magsalita si Pangulong Duterte. Siguro po yung tanong dito, yung tanong na rin ng kampo ng mga supporters ni President Duterte, bakit po ngayon na parang nagugulat si Senator Manny Pacquiao when the fact is he chose to be a supporter and in the camp of President Duterte for 5 years?
Alam mo, Robbie, hindi na kaya ni Senator Pacquiao. Maraming tao ngayon, dati, bumoto, sumuporta, tumulong sa Pangulo. Pero pag sinabi mo na anak mo ang susunod, pag umalis ka, isang pamilya, anak at ama, mukhang hirap na ang bayan. Kasi I feel, kay dati kong kaibigan si Presidente din, you have been there 6 years. Sinabi mo pa, not 1 minute, not 1 day ako may iiwan dito. Akala nyo madaling trabaho na to. Balik ako sa Davao. Okay. Ay ngayon, iba na namang kwento. Oh, para may immunity ako, tatakbo akong Vice President. Okay ba sa inyo? Marami akong pera. Ibibigay sa kampanya. Naku, sabihin mo yan sa buong bayan. Marami akong pera, bibigay ko sa inyo sa yung sa PDP na speech. Partner naman, sa totoo lang, 6 years is enough. The President, you have done your best, even though it might not be good enough. Basta tapos na. Pagbigyan mo naman ang iba. And you know, for 6 years, at least, sabihin mo Ed, sabihin mo Robbie, Amy, at least si Senator Pacquiao, tumindig, stand up and be counted. Kung hindi mo na kaya, ilabas mo na ang puso mo at damdamin mo. Paalam mo na kaysa never. And it will be too late. Mabuti na yung after 5 years, kita mo na lahat. Did we improve? Pandemic, Chinese issue, China, probinsya ng China. PhilHealth, corruption. Oh, ano pa? Ang sabi ni Senator Pacquiao, ang problema ditong malaki, pag nanalo ako binigyan ng Panginoon ng pag-asa, lahat na kawatan, lahat na nagnanakaw, ibibilanggo ko. Oh, yan, masakit pakinggan, pero totoo. Kaya ikaw, okay ka ba? Itutuloy pa lahat? We are now probably second to the last, worst as far as pandemic response is concerned. About corruption, PhilHealth.
Sir, sabi nga ninyo, hindi na kaya ni Senator Pacquiao.
Hindi na.
But in saying that, are you implying or is there any way to translate this as you and Pacquiao saying that he is now part of an opposition? He is he is in effect opposition to the president's and his allies.
I'm always listening to your program, no? With all compliment. At I'm sure you all know this, Amy, Robbie, you all know this. In politics, anything is possible. You know, even the isang bayan, in the beginning, they said, no, wag. Kasi ano yan, kaalyado ni Pangulo. What's happening now? Bukas ang oposisyon, isang bayan, lahat na partido, they're all welcoming the most renowned Filipino in this world. The most renowned. Punta kang Africa, punta kang Europe, pag hinahanap, Pacquiao, hindi iba. Punta kang Amerika. Sabi nga kahapon, he's more popular than LeBron James. Kasi sa practice niyang naglalaro siyang laban, lahat na babae, lahat ng mga tao, lahat na Pilipino, andon. Kaya partner, humihilang siya ng fair and square. Oh, inalis pa sila. Alam naman ng bayan yun eh. Is that a good way? Ibubuldos mo? May hugpong naman eh. Oh. What is funny, if I come out with it now, is that baka sa hugpong ibang presidente sa PDP, ibang vice president. Walang presidente sa PDP. Vice president. Doon dalawang partido.
Mr. Pontevella, are you saying Senator Pacquiao is open to joining Isang Bayan?
You know, Manny Pacquiao, Amy, is open to everybody. To everybody. He wants to talk to everybody. He wants to unite everyone. But those who don't want him, no problem. No problem, Amy. Sambayan, they already opened the doors. When he comes back, why not? Liberal Party, sabi ni Kiko Pangilinan, we're open to Manny Pacquiao. Why not? NPC, he has so many friends there. Aside from Tito and Ping, why not? So, it's everything in politics is possible. Alam mo yan, Amy, binabasa kita parati.
Mr. Pontevella, if you don't...
Meaning you're implying na posibleng umalis si Senator Pacquiao sa PDP-LABAN. Kasi sinabi niyo din kanina
Hindi kailangan umalis. Hindi kailangan umalis kasi sila talaga ang pioneers dyan. Si KOKO Pimentel. Ay tinanggap lang naman nila noong 2016 si Presidente. So, hindi yan aalis unless alisin.
Mr. Puentevella,
aalisin na naman. By force. By kapangyarihan.
Mr. Puentevella, linawin ko lang po because kagaya ng nabanggit kanina ni Ed, pagkakaintindi namin, naatasan kayo to speak on behalf of Senator Pacquiao, especially habang nagte-training siya. So I just want to be clear, we're not drawing any lines here between your opinions and what is the position and the opinion of Senator Manny Pacquiao on everything we've been talking about so far. You are speaking for Senator Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Okay. Kasi I wanted to ask...
Yan ang niya sa akin.
Opo. Kasi I wanted to ask doon po
I'm just complying.
Opo, because I wanted to ask connected doon sa sinabi ni Ami with regards to isang bayan in particular. Sinabi nila may criterion kami. And yung ibang mga issues na nabanggit nila, nabanggit nyo na rin. China issue, yung corruption, and so on, take a stand there. But one of the issues they also want a clear position on is human rights, is EJ case, is the conduct of the war on drugs over the past 5 years. Nasabi niyo po, napuno na si Senator Pacquiao when it comes to corruption, napuno na siya when it comes to yung bastos na pananalita ng Pangulo. Where does he stand now with regards to EJ case, on the conduct of the war on drugs, and in general on questions and issues about human rights under President Duterte?
You know, ang kaibahan, with all due respect to the President, Senator Pacquiao wants to listen. He is a listener. Nakikinig. He doesn't know everything or presumes he knows everything. So, yung sinabi mo, Rob, lahat yan, tatalakayin niya sa kampanya. You know, I'm feeling, well, he told me na seryosong-seryoso, wala nang atrasan. So, I'm presuming that when they sign up on October 8, pag nagsimula na, pag nagpirmahan na sila lahat, lalabas na yan, SARA, Manny Pacquiao, lahat yan lalabas na. Well, tatalakayin niya yan lahat. He's ready. He's ready for that. Ang kalaban niya lang kasi, pag walang kurap, walang mahirap.
Apa. Pero ulitin
yun ang kanyang una. Yung pangalawa, drugs, China. Alam mo, kilalaban siya ni Pangulo dahil sinight niya pa rin yung Chinese problem doon sa West Philippine Seas. Sinight niya Doon nagsimula. Tinira na siya ni Presidente doon na, lumabas na. Oh. But again, the bottom line here is, sino bang tatakbo? Pag tumakbo si SARA, Mayor SARA, with all due respect, sinong kalaban? Kasi si Senator naman nagsasabi, whoever runs, tatakbo. Si Senator Pacquiao. Kasi napuno, hindi niya na kaya. So kung wala diyang lalaban, kung sa oposisyon ngayon, you know, you are talking about isang bayan, we are just waiting to talk. Talk. Nothing much.
Apa.
But when you say talking, anything is possible.
Apa, pero balikan ko lang po yung isang bayan. Because I did ask that question about human rights, specifically in the context of what we understand isang bayan wants to stand for. And kung tama po ang dinig ko sa inyo, is that when Senator Pacquiao runs for president, makikinig siya at pag-aaralan niya. And he will take time to consult. But if we understand the Isang Bayan agenda from day one, is they want, at least on the matter of questions of human rights, for example, and EJ case, gusto nila may pinanggagalingan, may tinatayuan na yung mga kausap nila. I'm sure this will come up when, as you said, mag-usap kayo ng isang bayan. So, sundutin ko lang po yung tanong na yon. May pinanggagalingan ba, may tinutuntungan ba si Senator Manny Pacquiao when it comes to the question of was human rights a problem over the past 5 years in the conduct of the war on drugs and under President Duterte's term in general, and is accountability for those human rights problems going to be on the agenda of Senator Manny Pacquiao, or are you saying na kailangan pa pag-aralan yan?
Yeah, good question, Rob. Alam mo, I don't want to tell everything here because alam mo, pag simula ng kampanya, magdidebate, lalabas lahat ito. Manny Pacquiao, isang mahirap. Nadaanan lahat na gutom. Nararamdaman niya ang mga pinapatay sa kalye. Kaya sinabi ko nga sa iyo, with all due respect, Rob, hindi niya na makaya eh. Kasi everyday, nakikita niya eh, sa kanyang mata. Isang matang babae, binabaril sa harap-harapan ng telebisyon. Pating anak, binabaril sa harap. Ano ba nangyari doon? Dami na ang mga nangyayari sa isdaan, sa atin, nagiging waste basket. Ang ating pinanalo sa Netherlands, ating dagat, waste paper. Kung sa eskwelahan pa, waste paper. I mean, lahat yan tatalakayin kasi he's ready. Yung human rights, tingnan natin, we all know na may kakulangan tayong malaki sa human rights. Edukasyon. Oh, nag-apologize, pero sa totoo lang, every writer, even Amy knows that, mga writers, journalists, they all write about the deficiency, ang kakulangan ng ating edukasyon, ng ating kabataan, lalo na ngayon sa pandemya. Kaya with all due respect, Rob, lahat na sinasabi mo, I want to give that also. Nag-uusap kami almost every day, noon pa, nung bago magpandemya. Marami ito eh. He has 20 issues. Ang una niyang korupsyon, China, edukasyon, lalo na sa employment, sa labor. Wala na dami ng daming tao, walang trabaho. Kaya hindi niya na makaya, Robs. And I don't blame you either. Don't misinterpret me. I know where you stand, and I have been an admirer of the chiefs. You know, you are not taking sides, and that is great. That is what it should be. Pero he has 20 lists in his well, wherever he goes. Oo. Alam ko na yung 20 na yan.
Apa.
Kaya yung Chinese issue, gusto yan na dalakayin ng isang bayan. Human rights. Extrajudicial killing. You will run for the presidency. Pinag-aaralan niya rin yon, with all due respect, Rob. Ang problema lang rito, ang nag-iinsulto na hindi siya nagbabasa, yung kalaban. Kasi ayaw nilang tumakbo si Senator Pacquiao bilang Pangulo. So that libre sila. Libre na sila. Kasi si Senator Pacquiao lang ang kinakatakutan nila. That's why I decided, when he asked me to help him, I decided to come out and be counted. May edad na ako eh. And I can see where we are going. With all due respect, Mr. President, dati kitang kaibigan, pero wala
Mayor,
na.
Mayor, can we quickly run through that list of 20 na sinasabi niyong nasa bulsa ni Senator Pacquiao? If I'm getting this correctly, merong 20 issue na nasa listahan ni Senator Pacquiao that he wants addressed. Did I get that right? And this include the West Philippine Sea.
I will count the 20, no? Basta yung primary ha. Yung primary. Corruption, yung infrastructure, edukasyon, human rights, extrajudicial killing, employment, sasaktan talaga sa employment. Dami daw, hindi talaga wala ng trabaho. Nakikita niya ron, kaya nagbibigay nga ng pera maski saan pumunta. Ang pandemya, Galit na galit siya sa paghawak. But I will not tell you what he knows about this pandemic response. Mayroon siyang alam kasi lalabas yan sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Marami pa siyang alam pero gusto ko malabas ito sa debate. Pag nagdebate sila, ay ganyan naman talagang laban sa politika eh. Ay 9 years ako sa Congress, 3 years ako naging mayor sa Bacolod, kaya taguin ko muna ang kalahati. Taguin ko muna yung kalahati para lalabas ito lahat sa debate. Kung hindi, hahanda yung kabila ngayon eh.
Pero Mr. Puentevella, sa takbo na usapan natin, mukhang sigurado na si Senator Pacquiao na tatakbong presidente in 2022.
Kaya nga lumabas ako dito sa inyo. Nagpapasalamat ako, Amy, sa TV5. Pinagbigyan niyo ako. Kasi lahat tinitira siya, hindi siya makasagot. Sabi niya, Padre, ikaw na mo dyan kasi gusto ko muna mag-focus sa laro, sa laban ko. Kaya, with all his blessings, sabi niya, basta sabihin mo lang yung, kasi we always talk eh. 20 years na kami niyan magkakilala. I covered 16 fights sa Las Vegas, sa San Francisco, sa Los Angeles, dito sa Maynila, saan pa. Kaya I want you to know, mga kapatid, tatakbo ng Pangulo si Senador Pacquiao. May party man o walang party, sipain man o walang hindi sisipain, pero ipaglalaban ni Senator KOKO, anak ng mahal kong kaibigan, si Paring Nene. And I'm proud of what KOKO is doing, standing by his colleague. Linalaban niya ang katwiran, ang katayuan ni Senador Pacquiao. I'm proud of Senator KOKO Pimentel. In all his senatorial years, dito ako nagsasaludo kay Senator KOKO Pimentel for fighting for what is right. He thinks is what is right and just. Yung katwiran ng isang Pilipino na gustong tumakbo, maski galing sa mahirap, malay natin. Hindi marunong daw, sabi niya, magbasa. Malay natin, nag-aaral ito. Lahat naman na matalino, nagpunta sa Malacanang. Where are we now, Amy? Where are we? Saan ba tayo?
Sir, so malinaw na tatakbo. Malinaw po tatakbo. Sino gusto niyang vice presidential ano?
Wala pa yan.
Pero sino po ang gusto niya? Sino ang gusto niyang sino ang kinakausap na niya?
We are now in what you call behind the scene negotiations. In proper time. Huwag ko namang ubusin sa the chief na interview. Huwag ko namang ubusin. I want him to have that honor.
Wag po natin
Kung sino ang mga senador, alam ko na yung iba, sino ang vice president niya, give the honor when he comes back by August 25. Nandito na yan, August 25. 21 ang away. 25, 26. Invite him to the chiefs. Maybe, but I think the vice president will come mag-August 8 sa filing, vice president and senatorial candidates. Ang iba, alam ko na sinong senador, but huwag ko namang ubusin sa isang interview.
Hindi po natin Mayor, hindi po nauubusan na tayong oras, so hindi natin nauubusin sa isang interview. Itaga na lang natin sa bato na pagbalik ni Senator Manny Pacquiao dito sa Chiefs, ituloy natin ang usapan.
Okay.
Ako ay nagpapasalamat sa inyo. Ed, Amy, Robbie, maraming salamat. Madaming salamat. Because ang buhay ko, I'm much older than Senator Pacquiao, pero mahal ko yung tao, kumpadre ko for 20 years. Kaya, I'm in my twilight zone. And this is the biggest fight in the life of Manny Pacquiao, the biggest fight in Las Vegas, and the biggest fight of his life in 2022. Kaya ako nagpapasalamat sa TV5 na binibigyan nyo kaming pagkakataon na kapagpaliwanag. Kasi, let's be honest, we all love our country. We all love our country. Kaya it's time to stand up and be counted. I've told my children and my family, this is it for me. This is it for me. I've served this country 9 years in Congress, 3 years as mayor, but for me, before I go, I want to fight for my country. And I want to take a stand. And my stand is for President Manny Pacquiao. At kung sino man ang gusto ng presidente na maging presidente niya, go ahead. Go ahead. This is a free country po. This is a free country.
Well, Mr. Puentevella, tanggalin muna natin yung politika. Paabutin niyo po kay Senator Manny Pacquiao. We are wishing him well in his fight. and ipaabot niyo po sa Philippine delegation natin sa Tokyo that we are all rooting for Team Philippines, syempre.
Ako po'y nagdadasal sa inyong lahat. Humihingi po akong dasal sa inyong lahat kasi malaki ang laban na to. All our lifetime, wala pang medalyang ginto ang Pilipinas. Magdasal kayo, ito na, we have 19 athletes. And I can see 2 or 3 people who are capable of getting the elusive gold. One of them is my lifter, si Heidelin, but she will soon retire. And I hope if she doesn't get the gold, let God do the rest. She will get the silver and she will get the bronze. And I would like to thank the Philippine Sports Commission, MVP Sports Foundation, mga tumutulong sa atin. Ang hiningi ko lang sa inyo pong dasal kasi panahon na. Even in sports, kailangan umunlad na tayo.
Okay.
But I guarantee you, if we don't get this now, if God only gives us silver or bronze, in 2024, I have already some 4 or 5 lifters that may just get that elusive gold. Then I'll go to my own, the biggest memorial park in Bacolod, my family memorial park, the biggest rolling hills. Yon, I'm ready for that. Pag nanalo ng gold, either here or in Paris, I would like to rest and but I want to see our athletes do their best. Huwag ka mag-alala, Amy. Dalawang swab ako kahapon at ngayon. We're very strict with the protocol. Masyadong stricto. I hope God will bless us. Walang mag-positive doon. Mahirap, pero yung iba kasi, ang protocol siguro mahina. Pero sa Pilipinas, Philippine Olympic Committee, we did our best. Talagang ginawa namin lahat para masalba, maayos ang protocol ng mga atleta. And I hope after this thing is over, yung 19 athletes will be safe and negative and we will go home triumphant. Salamat po sa inyo.
Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po.
Tulong dyan, sa inyo, sa TV5. MVP, lahat kayo dyan, lahat ng mga lahat sa stasyon nyo. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Puentevella. Mr. Puentevella is the president of the Samahang Weightlifting ng Pilipinas. He's also a former mayor and former congressman of Bacolod, and as you heard, a close ally speaking for Senator Manny Pacquiao. Please stay with us. The Chiefs will be right back. Welcome back to Chiefs here on One News. I'm Robbie Alampay, still here with Ed Linggao and Ami Pamintuan, and now joining us, San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Good evening, Mayor Zamora.
Good evening,
Yes.
Mayor.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Robbie, Ami, and Ed. Thanks for having me again on the Chiefs.
Opo. Actually, last week pa, I mean, we wanted you here because last week, if I'm not mistaken, San Juan had the distinction of hitting, herd immunity ba yun? Community protection. Was it 70%?
Heard.
Actually, I want to clarify lang, ang na-achieve ng San Juan last week ay na first dose na namin ang more than 100% ng target population natin, which is 70%. So,
First dose.
100% first dose. First dose pa lang, yes. But given these data, we are right on track to achieve herd immunity here in San Juan before the end of August. Ibig sabihin nun, na 2 doses na ang aming target population by the end of August.
Mayor, yung target population, kasama ba yung transient? Kasi ang dami ninyong workers dyan, di ba? Kasama ba
Yes.
yun? Kasi yung first local transmission natin in the Philippines, I think it was a worker, di ba? Doon sa shopping center. Hindi naman siya residente. Was he a resident?
No, actually, hindi siya residente. In fact, taga isang bayan siya sa labas sa Metro Manila. Ngunit madalas mo dito sa ating prayer hall sa Green Shopping Center.
Yeah.
So, he frequented the prayer hall and eventually nga, siya ang unang kaso natin ng local transmission. Pumanaw siya a few days after and then sumunod naman yung kanyang asawa rin. So sila yung patient number 5 and 6 sa buong Pilipinas.
Yes. So kaya ba yun? I mean, the concept of herd immunity, kaya ba siya dito sa Metro Manila? Contiguous siyang mga cities natin? Di ba? Well, I know it's a small city, no? San Juan. Kaya lang, yun na nga, ang dami-daming mga trabahador dyan, ang dami-daming workers, saka ang dami nagpupunta sa shopping mall niyo, even during the pandemic.
Yes,
So,
actually, kasama ang yung kasama sa binavaccinate natin ay yung A4.
Yes.
Ibig sabihin yung workforce natin na kahit hindi kayo taga San Juan, basta dito kayo nagtatrabaho, ay kasama kayo sa aming binabakunahan. And they are part of our daytime population, Ami. So kasama mo sila sa aming computations. And given that they're part of the daytime population, we are really right on track. By end of August, nakita na namin yung schedule ng mga second dose ng aming mga nabakunahan na ng unang dose sila. And for as long as we have a sufficient supply of vaccines, ay by end of August nga po ay mafu-full dose na natin or fully vaccinated ang 70% ng aming populasyon. But we will not stop there, Ami. No? Ang 70% is just your target for herd immunity. But we are going for 100% of the entire city basta qualified based on age and health status.
Mayor, I mean, whether it's first dose or second dose, every vaccination is an accomplishment. Every vaccination is a small victory headed in the right direction. So lots of congratulations to go around. But at the same time, this is coming at a time where Delta variant is now taking over the headlines and causing a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry. And again, we're waiting for data again on the Delta variant. Talk to us about how the emergence of the Delta variant is also a sobering matter for our LGUs, notwithstanding progress such as this.
Well, alam nyo talaga, ang lahat ng Metro Manila mayors ay natatakot nga dito sa pagpasok ng Delta variant sa Pilipinas. In fact, as of yesterday, 35 confirmed cases na all over the country and 3 are here in Metro Manila. Kaya nga po kami ay nagpulong kahapon patungkol sa mga paghahanda na dapat namin gawin. And you may have heard in the news already that the Metro Manila Council has already approved the resolution requesting the IATF to temporarily suspend yung pagpayag na dito sa mga kabataan 5 years old and above na lumabas ang kanilang tahanan dahil na rin nga po sa threat ng Delta variant na highly transmissible po siya. In fact, based on studies, 1 person with the Delta variant can infect 5 to 8 persons. Ganun kataas ang kanyang transmissibility. Kung kaya nakita naman natin how this has affected India and other countries, Indonesia also, na lumamang na nga sa India in terms of the number of cases. Kaya mahirap talaga kung yan ay kumalat dito sa Metro Manila at sa Pilipinas.
But sir, are the mayors looking at other measures aside from yung rolling back yung permit for 5-year-old children up to go out in public places? Kasi I'm sure Indonesia and Thailand were pretty much confident with their measures before the Delta surge hit them, and it's hitting them really hard now. So I'm just wondering kung yung mayors are looking at other measures along the lines of restricting, for example, further restricting movement within Metro Manila or outside the bubble.
Yung ang tungkulin kasi natin talaga, we just have to keep on following PDITR. So yung prevention, detection, isolation, treatment, and reintegration. Yung lahat ng minimum health standards, all health protocols, as long as strictly susundin natin, this will really help versus the Delta variant. Ang napaka-importante talaga dyan yung contact tracing, lalong-lalo na kung sakali, no, naman sana, ay magkaroon ng confirmed case ang anumang LGU dito sa Metro Manila. Kinakailangan mabilis na ma-extract yung pasyente yan, mag-contact trace agad, ma-isolate na agad. No? Hindi pwedeng mabagal sapagkat yung kabagalang yan, yun ang maging dahilan ng pagkalat. Kasi bago mo pa lang siya na-isolate, kung marami na siyang nahawak iba, and then that will really increase exponentially yung bilang ng mga kaso. So kinakailangan lang talaga sundin lahat ng ginagawa natin from before, even with the other variants that we have experienced. Nakita naman natin coming from March, nung tumaas ang mga kaso sa Metro Manila, naibaba rin naman natin back to normal ngayon. Kaya lang ito nga, bagong variant, highly transmissible. So we just have to follow all health and safety protocols. And if I may add also, no, siyempre yung vaccination talaga malaking bagay yan. Kinakailangan talaga tayo magpabakuna dahil yung protection na nabibigay ng bakuna can really help us fight off itong Delta variant. So we really have to speed up our vaccination. Hindi pwedeng yung ibang cities ay kumbaga nagkukulang o naiiwan. No? It has to be all together. Yung Metro Manila, dapat lahat talaga mabigyan ng sapat na supply para hindi nga na-delay ang vaccination natin. It really helps a lot if all cities are supplied with vaccines upang mabakunahan talaga ang lahat dito sa Metro Manila.
Mayor, assuming you achieve yung sinasabi nyo, you said supply permitting and as long as stable yan, you're projecting that by August, by the end of August, na-achieve nyo na ang herd immunity, you'll continue to even 100% for your population. But assuming that San Juan becomes the first city to achieve 100%, does that then free you up to remain, to still provide vaccination services for the rest of Metro Manila?
Well, nung nakaraang linggo, dumalaw po ang 4 ng National Task Force Cabinet Secretary sa atin, si Secretary Roque, Secretary Duque, Secretary Dizon, and Secretary Lopez. And I made a commitment that even after we vaccinate our entire population, we are more than willing to help vaccinate people from other cities sapagkat kapwa Pilipino natin yan. Basta bibigyan ho nila kami ng bakuna. Tandaan ho ninyo, wala pa ho kaming hawak na sarili naming bakuna. Lahat ng bakunang ginagamit namin ay galing po sa national government. So we are very dependent on the supply that is given to us. But if they will indeed give us the sufficient supply, then we would gladly help other cities. Unahin na natin siguro yung mga malapit po sa San Juan. At yun nga ho, bahagi na rin nga nito yung pagbabakuna natin sa mga nagtatrabaho dito, pagamat na ibang lungsod, ay araw-araw nandito po sila sa aming lungsod nagtatrabaho. So we have to make sure they are protected.
Yung response sa risk posed by the Delta variant, okay lang sa inyo yung desisyon ng government for now na granular lockdowns daw will be enough. Hindi daw kaya yung citywide. Okay lang sa inyo yon?
Well, yung granular lockdown has worked well for us even in itong nakaraang 1.5 years almost ng COVID. Nakita natin gumagana ang granular lockdown sapagkat parang katawan yan eh. If a part of your body is sick, you do not do surgery on the entire body. Localized lang talaga yung gagawin mong procedure. So it's the same thing. Granular lockdown, in other words, localized lockdown, kung saan lang talaga yung kalye, saan yung compound, saan yung looban, doon tayo magpo-focus kasi pag lahat ng iba ay maapektuhan din dahil lang sa maliit na lugar na may kaso, yung economic impact also, syempre, kailangan natin timbangin dahil ang tagal na rin po natin nakikipaglaban sa COVID. Totoo po na maraming nawalan ng trabaho, nawalan ng kabuhayan, people are getting hungry. This is the other side of the story. No? Meron tayong economic aspect, meron tayong health aspect na kailangan parehong balansihin. kailangan ho bigyan na importansya pareho yan.
Mayor, everything has come a long way, to give credit to everyone. But why is it that on one aspect, LGUs in NCR keep giving the public and government and agencies the impression that we can't get our act together when it comes to sharing data? We were talking about interoperability and sharing of data across LGUs, at least within NCR, from the time of when we were talking about the need for testing. Certainly, when we started to talk about can we have one system for contact tracing, and now that we're talking about the concept of a vaccine card, the DOH and the DICT are both saying that we still need to get the data from the LGUs to be interoperable. Why is that so hard?
Well, yung mga local governments kasi may kanya-kanyang mga contact tracing apps, no? May kanya-kanyang data collection, data submission. So, kinakailangan talaga mag-integrate ng mabuti. Kami ho sa San Juan, we use the VIMS program, yung Vaccine Information Management System. That is through the DICT. In fact, we are the pilot city for this. At yan po ay nakakatulong talaga sa amin, kaya mabilis kami nakakapag-report because we do not have to summarize all the data for the vaccines at the end of the day, sapagkat bago pa lang dumating yung babakunahan, naka-input na ho yan, pre-submitted na ho sa amin yan ng mga babakunahan. At the end of the day, in one click, nasa-submit namin yan sa DOH. So I don't know about other cities. I'm not privy to how they do theirs. But kami ho sa San Juan, ganon. So mas mabuti talaga dapat ang national government at ang local government nag-i-integrate na. Pag-usapan naman natin yung contact tracing app. Iba-ibang apps ang gamit ng iba-ibang LGUs. No? So dapat talaga mag-integrate upang isa na lang talaga ang gamitin, or kung sakaling iba-iba man, dapat sa Tagalog mag-usap-usap yung technology.
Pero yun nga po if you don't mind, I mean, everything you said is a given. And everything that you said, people already understand na iba-iba kayo ng app when it comes to contact tracing, and then iba-iba rin yung app for registration when it comes to vaccination. But, I'm no techie, but all of us and all of the people that I know who have registered, most of us went through a website. All of us went through an online registration. Most of us put in the same data. Now, if you're submitting, as you said, in a push of a button, you can submit the results in real time to the DOH. Again, it begs the question, if everybody's submitting the same data across the same categories with the same meta tags or metadata or whatever you want to call it, same categories, again, where do you think is the bottleneck in just making it interoperable, given that everything's digital and it's the same categories across LGUs?
Robbie, I cannot answer your question specifically because each mayor, each LGU has his or her own methods. So siguro talaga dapat magkaroon nga ng isang pamamaraan. Sabihin ng DOH, sabihin ng DICT, o lahat tayo, ito ang gagawin, sumunod kayong lahat. Ganon sana. Kaso lang, kumbaga, dumaan na yung mga buwan. Dumaan na yung panahon. So to integrate or reintegrate everything, kinakailangan talaga.
But I guess then that's the question. Has the DICT given you those parameters and that mandate and that requirement to at least standardize and to sync everybody's data?
Well, kami sa San Juan, sumusunod kami doon sa DICT program. So I'm just not sure about other LGUs. I'm privy to their methods. Pasensya na kung di ko siguro on behalf of other LGUs. Pero kami sa San Juan, sumusunod kami doon sa DICT at I can honestly say na nakakatulong talaga siya sa reporting namin. Bago ni-launch ito, after nagsasama ng pupunahan namin ng second, abot pa ng 9 PM yung mga vaccine staff namin kasi magsasummarize pa sila ng napakaraming data. Ngunit nung nagsimula kami ng VIMS, no, pagkatapos ng vaccine for the day, vaccination for the day, immediately, just a few minutes after, ay nandun na. Napadala na namin yung data. So it saves us 2 to 3 hours a day. Nakakapahinga yung mga vaccinator natin.
Okay. San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Sir, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
And that's all for this special edition of The Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. Before we go, a reminder to our viewers, mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Robbie Alampay.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.